First of all, without question, the nuclear issue never really went away. It sort of went into the background. And then, for a variety of reasons, the way that Russia has developed, it has decided, and particularly Mr. Putin has decided, that today nuclear weapons are more important, that is, of increasing importance to Russia's overall national security. In the United States, every president, at least since Ronald Reagan, has decided that nuclear weapons are less important to our national security. So we have this asymmetry. And what we find today is Putin, because of his belief that nuclear weapons are important, and the way at least that I interpret that belief is the strategic weapons, in other words, the long-range weapons that could reach the United States, are there for what he calls global deterrence, global stability. The tactical nuclear weapons, they're there for regional stability, regional deterrence, and also to sort of give them a freedom of action that they would like to have in the near or abroad. So that presents then this significant difficulty that they are indeed, they've revitalized their nuclear complex. They're building new nuclear weapons, which we in the United States are not. So then clearly the question is, so what do we do at this point? Do we re-enter that arms race? And I strongly believe that that's just not necessary. We have a deterrent. We have a deterrent that will work against Russia. Most important thing from my standpoint on the United States end is sort of we get our house in order. We make sure that our nuclear complex is actually able to take care of those weapons and those capabilities that we have. If we go back, let me just go back the last 5 presidents of the United States. During Ronald Reagan's term, they were essentially putting the pieces in place for the nuclear capability. During George H.W. Bush's term, they got ready. And I would say by that time they had all of the pieces in place that they could actually build a nuclear weapon. During President Clinton's term, they actually decided to sort of step back from that brink, at least for some time.
North Korea will freeze and then dismantle its nuclear program.
And then we come to George W. Bush's term, and he very specifically said, we will never allow North Korea to get a nuclear weapon. Well, it turns out they did, on his watch. And so between maybe 2003, 2008, they had built perhaps 5 to 6 nuclear weapons. And then President Obama's policy, for a variety of reasons, has gone in a direction where he has looked mostly at using sanctions to punish North Korea, and then trying to prod the Chinese to use their influence as much as they might have on North Korea. And that simply has not worked. So we went from President Bush's term of 5 or 6 nuclear weapons to, by the time President Obama goes out of office, 20 to 25 nuclear weapons. So my view has been, we've tried sanctions, we've tried to prod China. None of that has worked. We've had several opportunities diplomatically through dialogue, and we've not availed ourselves sufficiently of that. And so at this point, even though we don't like it, it's sort of difficult to stomach going back to dealing with the North Korean leadership. But I believe we simply must talk to them. That will be one of the first issues for our president.
سیلوهای زیرزمینی پرتاب موشک.
My view has been that very much like North Korea for a couple of decades, the Iranians were developing the option to build a bomb. And the most important part of that option is being able to make the fissile materials, the bomb fuel, highly enriched uranium and or plutonium. And by 2013, 2014, and so, the Iranians had gotten close enough in order to be able to build enough and make enough of this fissile material that they could build a bomb in rather short order. So in other words, they got very close to the point where they would have the capability to exercise the option to go build a bomb. And we believe they've done enough other tests that the issue of building the bomb itself, once they had the material, they would be able to overcome those difficulties quite easily. So at the time the negotiations began, and then at the time that this Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action